Hi, kitty cats. I wanted to make a little cooking video for you today. I started to film and then something happened to the camera. What I'm making today is I'm making my mother's. I lost a nail too, by the way. Uh, Popped right off. Damn polygel. Anyway, um, making my mother's recipe for cucumber salad, and I am making my southern barbecue. I guess you guys call it sloppy Joe. Um, so that's what I'm making today. And then we're going to have some Amish potato salad with it. I'm not making the Amish potato salad today because I just don't have enough time. But if that's something you guys were be interested in, that recipe, let me know and I'll make a separate video. Now the camera shut off, but I have my cucumber sliced, two large cucumbers. I think we all know how to slice cucumbers. Um, and then I'm going to put some uh, onion in there. And now I'm not great at chopping, as you can see, but we're going to give it a shot. So we're just going to go ahead and just coarsely chop an onion. Doesn't have to be finely chopped or perfect squares or anything. Sometimes I just slice it long ways and just put those pieces in. But since I have trouble chewing, I'm going to try to cut them smaller. So we're just going to go ahead and throw the onions in there. I think maybe I'll do one more onion and throw in there. And so I'm going to go ahead and chop that, and to save a little bit of my battery, I'll be right back. So there we go. We've got the second half of our large onion coarsely chopped into chunks. And we're just going to throw that into the bowl and let the onions come to the party. Okay, now, if you're triggered by hands, you might want to turn the video off now because this recipe is very handsy. Okay, so, and I did wash my hands before I started, so I don't want to trigger anybody with that. Okay, so that's that, and I have to go get something out of the pantry, and I'll be right back. So next, we're going to add some vinegar to the cucumbers. Now you can use white vinegar, you can use apple cider vinegar, whatever your taste is, but you want to just give it a good splash. I don't measure anything, guys. So you just give it a good splash. Now here's where if you're triggered, don't watch. So what you want to do is you want to get in there and just squish with your hands. Squish that vinegar right into those cucumbers. Get the cucumbers nice and soft. Okay. And just work that in. Now I put enough vinegar in there to really squish around. You might not have to use as much as I did, but I like to get in there and just really squish around. So there you go. I want to make all the cucumbers nice and saturated with that vinegar and squished up. Okay. All right. And that's about right. Now, there is a lot of vinegar left in here. So whatever I put in there that's over what I need, that's too much, then I just pour out. Okay. So that's what you should have there. All right. Now, the next thing coming to the stage is mayonnaise. Now, if you listen to my mother and my grandmother, the only mayonnaise you should ever use is Hellmann's. And quite frankly, I agree. Hellmann's is the best mayonnaise for any recipe you are going to make. All right, I'm going to use a spatula because I can't find my spoon. Okay, so you want to go ahead, I want to do this so you can see it though. My camera angle is kind of weird. But you want to go ahead and you want to scoop some mayonnaise in there. And again, you can do this to taste. I like it very creamy. So I put a lot of mayonnaise in there. But you just start stirring it up and putting it in there until you get it the consistency that you want it. I'm actually going to put a little bit more in there because, like I said, I like it very mayonnaise-y, very creamy. Okay. And then you can salt and pepper this to taste as well. But this is basically it, guys. This is basically the cucumber salad. Now, what I do want to do is I do want to give it a little taste test. Why can I not find anything I need today? I was not prepared. Now, I do want to give it a little taste test now because some people like it very vinegary, some people don't. Okay, now see, that for me is perfect. If you taste test it and it's too vinegary for you, you can give it a little sprinkle of sugar, and that will cut the vinegar. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the refrigerator because I like it nice and cold. That's why I make this first. And we're going to go ahead and get started on the barbecue. Okay? Be right back. So we're back, and what we're going to do next is we're going to start on the barbecue. So what you need is a nice big pot, and I've already chopped some onions, a second onion, large onion, and I am going to go ahead and Excuse me, because I'm kind of a messy cooker. But I want to go ahead and put the heat on medium-high, and we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in there. Not a whole lot, but just maybe a little splash like that, okay? So, once you have your EVOO in there, what you're going to need for this recipe is ground beef, which I have over here, some ketchup, any brand that you like. You're going to need some barbecue sauce, again, any brand or flavor that you like. Hickory and honey brown sugar is just what Tony picked up today. I've used hickory smoke, all kinds of flavors. You're going to need some ground mustard, a little bit of onion salt, and a little bit of garlic salt. Okay? So, we've got the onions in there, and once they start getting a little soft, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm crazy, guys, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and turn up my burner just a little bit, and we're going to get those going. So once we have those going, we'll be right back. So my onions have been in a few minutes, and they're just starting to get soft and a little translucent. You don't want them to get too browned, okay? Now, I wanted to let you guys know the actual recipe for the barbecue. It depends on how many pounds of hamburger you're using. So, the basic recipe is for 1 pound of hamburger. You want to use probably a small onion, 1 small onion, a half a cup of ketchup, and a half a cup of the barbecue sauce, dried mayonnaise, garlic, and onion salt to taste. Okay? I'm actually making 3 pounds of hamburger because I've got 4 people in my house to feed. So for 3 pounds, I'm going to use a cup and a half of both the ketchup and the barbecue sauce, and then just season to taste. So we are ready to go ahead and start adding our hamburger in. And you know, you want to put hamburger in, just, you know, like chunk it up. Like you'd make any other sort of ground hamburger dish. And then, of course, with your spatula, as it's browning, you just want to keep sort of chopping at it until it gets into small pieces. I'm probably going to move this camera because this is a horrible angle. Alright, so let me go ahead and finish putting the hamburger in. Okay, so we've got the hamburger going nice now, and we're just going to keep an eye on it while it browns. And again, while it browns, we want to keep sort of, with our spatula, kind of chopping it up a little bit so that it ends up to be nice, small pieces of hamburger. Okay? Now this is where I want to go ahead and start to season. So, I'm going to put a little bit of garlic salt in there. You want to put it in while the meat is cooking because you want to get the flavor to cook into the meat. A little bit of onion salt to taste, again to taste. Tony likes a lot of garlic, so I would probably put a little garlic salt in there, but also put a little garlic powder in there as well. Just so it doesn't get too salty. When Tony and I first got together, the first year we were dating, this is the dinner that I made him for his birthday, and he absolutely loves it. So there, we're just going to continue cooking the meat until all of the pink is gone and the meat is done. And then I will drain off the grease and we will move on to the next step. Kids, so we've got in the meat all drained, and I've turned the heat down to about medium. And I'm going to start putting our sauces in here. Now, like I said, it's about a half a cup of each. A half a cup of this and a half a cup of barbecue per pound. Okay, so if you're making 2 pounds, you want a cup of this and a cup of the barbecue, and increase as you go up. I, of course, never measure. So, I'm just going to go ahead and start squeezing in just about what I think I need. And we'll see how that works. How does that work for you? We'll see. Alright. So you just want to start mixing it in. And of course, remember, you can always add more, but you can't take it out once it's in there. So once you got it sort of going there, you can sort of tell how much more you're going to need. So, and I like it, you know, not runny, but a little bit more wet. This is also the kind of dish that you can make earlier in the day and let it simmer for a couple hours, and it is better the longer it simmers. It's also better, it's one of those dishes better the next day. So you can go ahead and make this ahead of time. If you're going to let it simmer for a couple hours, just make sure that you keep checking on it so that it doesn't dry out. If it's starting to dry out, you can put a little bit of water in there and mix it around and reconstitute it, or you can put a little bit more ketchup or barbecue sauce in there. So I'm going to stick a little bit more in there because I like it a little bit wetter than that. And guys, this is starting to smell amazeballs. Yes, it does. Okay, now, once we have it to about that consistency, I forgot to tell you that in this as well, I do put a little vinegar in this as well. So I am going to just go ahead and splash just a little bit of vinegar in there. I might say a quarter of a cup, if that, maybe a third of a cup. You don't want to get it too tangy, but you want a little bit of that bite to it. Okay? And I can smell the vinegar mixing with the barbecue sauce. And oh my goodness, peoples, this is going to be yummy. I cannot wait for dinner. It's been so long since I cooked this. And I absolutely just love this. Okay. Now, at this point, I want to put in my ground mustard. And I'm just going to put in, I don't know, guys, maybe a half a teaspoon, or I mean a teaspoon or less. I don't want a whole lot. Well, maybe a little bit more. You don't want to use too much of this because that will get bitey too, and yeah, and let me tell you guys, this crap is expensive. I sent Tony to the grocery store and he bitched when he got home how expensive the mustard was. Alright, so I'm going to mix the mustard in there. Okay. And at this point, I just want to take a little taste of what's going on in here, just to see if I need to add anything else. Guys, that's amazing. What I do, I'm going to add a little bit more vinegar. Just a little bit more. And again, guys, don't worry if the bottom of the pan looks really wet, because you're going to let this simmer. You're going to let this simmer at least 20 minutes anyway. And so a lot of that will cook into, it'll cook down. So I put a little bit more of that in. Since I know Tony does like it garlicky, I'm going to put a little bit more garlic in there, because I didn't put a whole lot in the first time. And he do like his garlicky. And that's what it's all about, right, girls? Pleasing that man of mine. Whatever. Okay, so this is what you get from 3 pounds of meat. Again, I have 4 mouths to feed in this house for dinner right now, so and they're big boys with big appetites. So I don't know if I'm even going to have any leftover of this. But if you do have leftover of this, which is why I like to, even if it's just 2 of us, I use 2 pounds. of meat, because what I like to do the next day is I like to reheat this, and it reheats beautifully. You can also freeze this. It's wonderful frozen and thawed. It's perfectly fine. But the next day I reheat this. I bake a couple of potatoes and pour this over top of the potatoes with some fresh cut or fresh chopped raw onion and a little bit of sour cream. Oh my dog. Guys, that is one of the best baked potatoes, barbecue baked potatoes you will ever have. It's so, so, so delish. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to let this simmer for at least a half an hour. Maybe, well, probably about a half an hour tonight because the boys are hungry. So, I will be back to show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, kitty cats, we are ready. I'm sorry the light isn't any better. So let's see how this turned out. Yummy. Look at how good that looks, guys. I hope you can see it. The light is really, really bad. But that turned out perfect. Okay, so let me show you how I serve this up. So we're going to go ahead and make Tony's plate. And we're going to scoop a helping of the barbecue on the hamburger buns. Nice soft hamburger buns. Okay. And you can put some cheese on this too if you'd like. Let's get him a nice helping of the cucumber salad, which he loves. Okay. And on the side, we've got Amish potato salad. And like I said, I did not make the potato salad from scratch tonight because I just didn't have enough time. But if you'd like to see a video of how to make the Amish potato salad, let me know, and I will show you how to do that. Alright guys, well, that's what's for dinner. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't make a whole lot of recipe cooking videos, but I just thought, you know, while I was doing it, let's go ahead and just make the video. So, I hope you enjoyed it. If you decide to make this recipe, just let me know how it turned out in the comments below. I'd like to find out if you enjoyed it. And I will see you next time. But in the meantime, be happy, be healthy, be safe. Don't get fleas. And I'll see you guys real soon. I love you guys. Take care.